All right. Good morning, guys. How's everyone doing? So we got a creaky mic arm. That's what we have. We got a little bit of a bounce this morning off of some key levels last night. Moved down a little bit in the after hours last night on the futures. Bounced back up this morning. So we're seeing a little bit of a bounce. There are some interesting levels to be watching today. We have an uptrend on the Nasdaq. We have an inverse head and shoulders on the SPY. So I'm still very closely monitoring some of these levels we're pulling back to. We're still making higher lows technically at this low. So I wouldn't. I'm still slightly bullish here on this potential bounce. These things don't happen overnight, so sometimes it's up and down. It's finding higher lows. It's finding buyers. So still coming into the day is pretty neutral, but I do see the opportunities to the upside that I'm going to start to, I'm going to continue to keep an eye out for, but also not stay, not be totally delusional to the fact that there could be some more downside here. We're still in a downtrend on the SPY, still in the downtrend on the ES and the NQ. So it's a difficult time. It's a time to not, put all your eggs in one basket, and that's really what I've been doing lately. So we'll see. We'll go through our live stream today. We'll go through some levels to watch, see how this market reacts. We have some pretty big earnings coming up, and then we also have tomorrow we have CPI data and the Fed minutes, and that should be another thing that could affect where this market moves. That is tomorrow, I believe. Yes, market economic data. Let me just make sure of that before I say things that are not true. Yes, so tomorrow is core CPI and FOMC minutes. So that should be very interesting tomorrow. Along with some big bank earnings in the morning. So tomorrow's going to be a big day. So we'll keep an eye on this. We'll take a look at what happens tomorrow. But all we can do today is take a look at what's moving and what's going on. So what's CL doing this morning? So yeah, it's a good thing to point out. You have oil that's continuously moving higher here. Something to definitely keep an eye out for. This is the daily chart. So a very big increase in oil here, up to 82. High of yesterday, I believe, was 82. That was yesterday morning. Since then, it's been sort of stable, but 82 was the high there yesterday on oil. What's the TNX? I don't know if the TNX will populate for me this morning. It will not. But yesterday, the TNX moved. I think the TNX moved slightly higher yesterday. So we'll take a look and make sure we keep an eye on the 10-year today as well. All right, so let's go ahead and start with our schedule here. So of course, as always, we're going to look at the futures. So Nasdaq, S&P, and the Dow, very important. Yesterday did some interesting things. Pushed up pretty much a morning push that sort of faded into end of day yesterday. We just did not have that power to continue. So you could sort of tell intraday yesterday we started to slow down. We started to stop making new highs. We started to slowly start to bleed. And that just continued into end of day yesterday. So just not much power there to continue that move. However, if we look to the downside, we held some important levels. So we're sort of stuck in this consolidation range, which I by no means think is either extremely bullish or bearish. I think we're just trying to find that, how do I say this? Excuse me. I think investors are just trying to wait this out and see when that confidence comes back or when that certainty comes back. I still feel very uncertain because myself, if I'm feeling uncertain of where this market is, then I think that is I think a lot of people are feeling the same way. I think a lot of people don't know which way this goes, and usually that type of feeling keeps people out of the market, and usually that causes a little bit of consolidation. So we need to get something in the market to cause certainty. To get people to try to take this bounce to try to push us back higher. So that's sort of what I'm waiting to see happen. So we'll look at the futures. We'll look at earnings. We'll look at Tesla, which is moving up this morning. Tesla 800 has continued to hold up. Upstart, very nice setup still. I think Upstart looks great, and I took a small position myself, and I'm actually thinking about taking more of a position in Upstart. I'm waiting to see what the next few days do, because still I'm a little bit like I just said, I'm a little bit unsure of what happens, right? So that uncertainty gives me a little bit of, care. That's why I've been so focused on my position sizing lately. That uncertainty is just making me really take a step back. So Netflix, 630 level, very nice 630 level. And Netflix is holding this morning. I want to show you that. XLF yesterday, financials cooled off a little bit, and I think this makes sense. You're coming into big earnings. You're coming into CPI data. You're coming into the Fed minutes release. I think financials are going to be in the hot seat, and I think it makes sense to see it cooling off a little bit because people don't want to take that much risk into these earnings events and into these events. So I think it made sense to see financials cool off yesterday. We'll see if that continues. Bitcoin stocks or crypto stocks, Coin and Mara, really strong yesterday. Riot also strong, but I think we saw a lot more outperformance on both Coin and Mara. I'm going to show you guys those. And then finally, we will look at Snow, which I have been tracking a 50 SMA bounce. It started to fail at this 326. So I want to show you that today. So that is my schedule today for you guys. If you are a member of the stream, go ahead and go to that pinned post. It's Upstart. What do we say here? Sorry, it's in the keep printing. Yeah, I mean Upstart looks great. I have to say, if this was a technical world where nothing else mattered besides technicals, I think Upstart looks fantastic. I mean, it looks almost too clean to not be in, to be quite honest. That's why I had to take it. All right, so let's go ahead and start this off, guys. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq having a decent bounce as we speak, off of some lows. So you guys can see nice little pop there over the last few minutes. We'll see what happens today, but 4-hour chart. The biggest thing that I want to point out to you guys on the 4-hour chart, and I know it's not a huge fact just yet. It's not a totally valid point. It's not, this is not the reason why the market would bounce. This is not in itself, the outstanding factor that says the market's going to bounce, but it is very nice. And it is this uptrend that we have started to form. It is the higher lows that the Nasdaq has started to form. Now, I know this is early. I know this may fail, but this is definitely a change in direction, right? We did not get that type of trend before. We tried to do it here. It's not as strong here. I mean, you can call it like here. You can call this, a little bit of an uptrend. But I just don't see, there was no higher high here, right? So you can see right here, you see how we failed that higher high. We never made a higher high. So you can see higher low and a lower high right here. In this scenario, you made a higher high. So this was your previous high. You made a higher low, you made a higher high, and now I think you're just making a higher low here. So what you need to see here if you're a bull is you need to see this, or you need to see, even back to here. You need to see this continue. You need to see this higher highs and higher lows continue. And I think as you start to see this formation form, I think that gives a little bit more confidence in people trying to buy this dip. So I'm waiting to see if this formation holds. I'm waiting to see if this higher low folds. I really like how it held yesterday. I mean, yesterday we could have gave this up. Yesterday looked very weak yesterday. We closed very weak. For all we would have known, we could have woke up this morning to the Nasdaq down back towards these lows, down a few hundred points, right? Because we closed pretty ugly last night. So I like the fact that we are finding. This bounce. Yes, we do have to keep an eye on bond yield stay, as JJ is saying. But for now, I want to see, can we hold this uptrend? This is just something I want to point out to you guys here on the Nasdaq. So that's the Nasdaq short term. Here's the daily chart. I want to see us back above that 100 SMA today. That is 14,755. So want to see us back above the 100 SMA, 14,755. And then finally, just a quick look at the hourly chart for you guys. You can see once again the uptrend that has formed. And it looks like you just sort of need to get back above some of these highs here. So you have this whole resistance area anywhere from around 15,000. Let me go ahead and draw that out. Anywhere from around 15,000 to 14,900. All in this area is going to be a difficult area. So 14,900 to 15,000. We need to see a move through that level. That is going to be the key. So we'll see what happens today, guys. I think if you fail this uptrend, then I think you can be bearish again, in my opinion. If you fail this uptrend that has formed over the last 2 weeks, if you get something like this, then this is just another dead cat bounce that just does not work out. So I think this uptrend is the last key here. We will have to keep an eye on this uptrend. If you are a bear, I would wait to see if you break this, because at this point it seems like the momentum is slightly bullish. I wouldn't say this is a bullish rally, but it's slightly there as to the upside. But if you are a bear, I think you want to see that breakdown. If you are a bull, you want to see us continue to make higher highs and higher lows on this uptrend. So that is the NASDAQ. That is what I'm looking at right now. That's a key level that I will keep an eye on today. The ES. On the daily chart, you made any adjustments to your long-term preparing for tapering? No. I'm not changing my long-term. My long-term is very diversified. It's not very aggressive. I'm not really concerned about short-term things with my long-term. You can't focus on short-term things with a long-term portfolio. I try to think 15, 20 years out. I'm not really concerned about what's going on here in the short term. So, SPY, 1, 2, 3. There's your downtrend right there. How can we trust the move? You can't really trust any move, to be quite honest. You have to just, you have to accept the risk. That's what it's all about. You got to accept the risk that you are putting into it and find your exit points. I mean, there's nothing we can really trust 100% in this market. So I think that's something that a lot of people have trouble with. They feel like they need to trust the move. It's like going into the casino and trusting, that you're going to hit your roulette number every time. You got to have, calculated risk. You got to have, your analysis, but it's like a loading bar, right? You can only hit like 70% in trading. You're never going to hit 100%. Like you can hit, okay, my technical analysis gives me maybe 50% of my confidence. Maybe some fundamentals give me another 10%. Maybe, the market environment gives me another 10 or 15% confidence. So I hit my 75% confidence. But there's no way you're going to hit 100. There's nothing that's going to make you, 100% confident in anything. It's just impossible. And you're never going to have a guaranteed move. So it's about taking proper risk management because you're going to lose. And it's making sure that you don't go into a single trade too heavy because not one trade is going to be the right one. So it's hard to trust anything. I mean, you have to go in with risk management. But anyways, here's the ES, and what I'm looking at on the ES right now is somewhat of an inverse head and shoulders. So you can see left shoulder here, you have your head, and you have your potential right shoulder here. I'm not saying this is a right shoulder yet, but this is potentially a right shoulder on the ES. So you guys can see left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and if this is an inverse head and shoulders, the next move should be to the upside. And if that upside move comes and it breaks through this downtrend, I am very bullish on the SPY here, on the ES, on the S&P 500. So if we see this move, if we see this inverse head and shoulders hold up, if the ES holds at the 100 SMA, then I definitely see the potential for a break above this downtrend. That is what I'm looking at here. There's nothing sure. Works not risk. Cut it. Lost. Yep. Can't agree more, Diego. So there's your downtrend. Here's your inverse head and shoulders. You need to hold this 100 SMA. If you do, I think there is a possibility here. This is getting tight over here, guys. This is getting to a point where I think the ES will need to make a big move because you are getting very tight in this little wedge that is forming. So you have about a percent to the upside until we hit that uptrend once again. If the ES can move, then I think you can get that push. That is what I will be watching today, and I want to see the ES hold above the 100 today. That is 43,056. So that is what I will be watching. This is the daily time frame. That was the daily time frame. Here it is on the hourly time frame. So hourly time frame. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go to the... Derek, you don't need to talk like that, man. It's totally unnecessary. But anyways, here's the 4 hour. You can see the inverse head and shoulders as well. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So let's go ahead and see if this holds up. You can also see a little bit of this is your neckline for the head and shoulders. So right here around 43.22. You can see your bounces right there up 43.22. 1, 2, 3. This is the move that you want to see on the ES. A breakthrough, that right there. So that is what you want to see. All right, so that's the ES. Let's go ahead and run over to the Dow. And we go to the daily chart. And we can see this is actually a very similar type chart on the Dow. So here's the Dow. A very strong hold here. Very strong hold here at 33,500. 33,500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very strong hold. The resistance that you are coming into. Happy Tuesday, Alexis. The resistance that you are coming into is right here around this 50 SMA. So you can see 1, 2, 3. Look at the resistance at the 50 SMA here, guys. That is your resistance on the Dow. So the Dow is by no means in a downtrend right now. Supply above ES. Yeah, of course there's supply above, absolutely. We hear, well, I'm just reading your guys' chats. So here's the Dow. Not much of a downtrend, but you definitely have a very big supply zone right up here in the Dow. So you can see all in this 35,000 area is going to be very tough. So that's going to be the area I'm watching, the 35,000 area on the Dow. It's all right up here. You can see it very clear. Every single time we hit this little red area, which is supply, you get your rejection. So 35K on the Dow, and then 33.5 to the downside support. But by no means is the Dow in any type of scary downtrend. I mean, this thing's been pretty resilient. You guys can see here, it's been holding up very well. This 33,500. It's in a Dow trend. Yeah, I mean the Dow trend is sideways, right? That's the Dow. That's the traditional Dow trend. It's just sideways. So, all right. So that's the Dow. Here's the ES once again. I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys where you need to watch out for. Up here at this uptrend, 4,400, and then maybe around this 43.90. Watch that today to the upside if we even can get up there. Let me go to the shorter term time frames here. So you guys can see that it's been respecting this trend line extremely well. And this is in the 5-minute chart. So I would assume if we start to get near this 4,400 again, that's when you start to see resistance. That's back towards this uptrend. So 4,400, all in this area, guys. Anywhere from 4,400 to 4,420. This should be a difficult area up here on the ES. So watch above 4,400 on the ES. And then finally on the NQ, you have this downtrend on the shorter term time frames here. You can see that is what has been holding it. So right here, this little short-term downtrend is something that I would watch. But then also these previous highs. There's a lot of little, higher, a lot of previous little highs here to keep an eye out for. You can see there's a ton of them. So you can see 14.9, 14.924, 14.9 or 14.990 and 1500. So there's some little intermediary levels like these previous highs here. But like I said on ES, the big level I think is going to be 15,000. I think that's the big level. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think if 15,000 can break through, I think that is your breakthrough here. So maybe you get something like this here on the Nasdaq, and then you can get your 15,000 break. I think that is what helps this move out a little bit if we get that 15,000 break. So that's what I'm watching. We'll see what happens. We'll see if this trend holds. We'll see if that inverse head and shoulder holds on the ES. Facebook, I think it's coming back to 315, like you said. I'll take a look at it. That is what we'll have to keep an eye out for. So earnings, real quick, just to remind everyone. Earnings, today, nothing big. Tomorrow, JP Morgan, Delta, BlackRock. And then that's tomorrow pre-market. 15,000 I think is the key level, JJ. I think that's the level we need to watch. So here it is. Just to remind everyone. JP Morgan, Delta, BlackRock, that is tomorrow pre-market. Tomorrow, or Thursday pre-market is BOA, Wells Fargo, Walgreens, Citibank, Domino's, United Healthcare, Morgan Stanley. Those are some big ones. And then Friday before open, Goldman Sachs, PNC, Charles Schwab, and that is your earnings there, guys. So those are some to watch out for. A lot of banks, a lot of financials. That is going to be this week. All right. So next, Tesla. Let's take a look at it. Tesla's been a very interesting has had very interesting price action lately. I've never quite seen Tesla trade the way it has lately, and that's why I've been sort of staying away from it, because it's been a difficult one to trade. I mean, even on this, look at this price action on the 4 hour. It's just I'm not used to seeing that. You can see back a few years ago, or maybe last year, this was the beautiful price action that we got to encounter on Tesla, right? This was fun. This was free money. From between the 28th of December and the 1st or the 8th of January, this stock was virtually straight up every day. And these are not small moves. These are literally like 5% moves per day, 3%, 6%, 6%. So those were some beautiful moves back there on Tesla during that time. This move it's been on a great uptrend. I'll tell you that. It's a great uptrend. That is one thing I will say. This move on Tesla has been a very strong trend. No doubt about that. But it's just been so choppy and so up and down, and so the moves have been so small that it is very difficult with options. As a long-term shareholder, I'm happy about this. But with options, it's been a lot more difficult. So here's the last few weeks on Tesla. You can see the big level is down here at 767, 770. That's the big level. That's obviously where you want to see us hold. You do not want to see it get below that. And then the big upside level is right in this 805, 806 area. It's not an exact level, but this resistance starts to come in around 805, 806. All within here is where you start to see that resistance pop in. So you want to see us get above that. You want to see us get above that 805, 806, and you want to see us hold this 767. So today it looks like it's starting to get that push. Just be aware of the potential resistance up there around 805, 806. If you get through that level, 820 is the level that I was watching. So let me go over here to 820. 1 second. It looks like it's a good start to the day for sure. So 820, if I zoom in here, guys, this is back from January of this year. So hold on, let me make sure of that. Yes, January of this year. You guys can see we had resistance starting to form here at 820. 1, 2. You can see that was previous support. And I think 820 is another psychological level that we have seen quite a bit on Tesla. So 820 to the upside is, I think, a level that I'm going to keep an eye out for right here. 1, 2, 3, 820. And then literally anywhere between 880 and 820. You guys see all this consolidation? This whole area, I think, is going to be very, very tough because look how choppy it is back here in January and February of this year. I think that chop is going to be a difficult area to just spike right through. So I'm considering, I want to be aware of what happens as we get into this zone on Tesla. This is a big zone, I know that. But look at this chop that was formed back in January and February of this year. So if we start to move into those levels, I'm very interested to see how we react to this previous price action over here. It's going to be interesting. So let's see what happens. However, uptrend looks great. The stair steps continue to hold. You can see every single time Tesla stair steps higher. So you can see it holds these previous highs as support. Right here, previous highs turn into support. Previous highs turn into support. Previous highs turn into support. This has happened over and over and over and over again. So gosh, who made puts back then? He is rich. So very nice. Yeah, we're at 802 in the pre-market. So we'll see if we break that 805, 806. But you guys can see the stair steps that continue to hold over and over again. So let's see how we do today. It's a nice push right now. Watch yesterday, or watch that 805 that we rejected pretty harshly. That 805 actually came from some of these previous levels. Let me zoom in for you guys. So right here, these are your levels today, guys. Right here, 805s, 806, all in this area. Please be aware of that level as we approach today. If we start to see us break through that level, it could be nice. So keep an eye on that. That's Tesla. Upstart. I absolutely love this setup. I might be looking at the wrong thing here, but I think this looks really, really good on Upstart. So this is what I'm watching. I'm watching this 289 or 285, 286 to 290 hold. You can see highs turned into support, and you can see we are starting to move higher. If we break this trend, if we break this downtrend on Upstart, I truly believe that we can get a very nice move here. I really think there could be another move that I don't want to say will be the same size as this move, but I definitely see, upside here. So I could be wrong. This ultimately could fail this downtrend. It definitely could. Maybe it starts to fail and it does this. Maybe it does that. Who knows? There is earnings coming up, so I am aware of that. But if we start to see this breakout start to form, I think momentum will flood into Upstart. So I'm keeping a very close eye on this. I want to see if it breaks this downtrend. I like to hold it at 286, 285. A little bit of a flag. And maybe it does this. Maybe it creates a little bit more of a flag here. Just like that, right? Maybe this is your flag. And then eventually you get that. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on Upstart here, guys. Feel free to watch it with me. See if this thing holds up. See if we continue to hold this little flag pattern. If we start to get this break, I definitely think there could be upside. So, excuse me. That is what I am watching here on Upstart. Wow, the Nasdaq's up 80 points. Shit. Wow, I'm getting a good push today. All right, so yeah. I have, as of right now, guys, I have a far out of the money call on Upstart. It's very small. It's money I'm willing to lose. I don't care if I lose 100% of it. It is a 10.15. It's this week expiration, 3.50 call. It was $1.50, $150. So I took it because in case Upstart wants to make this move this week, I'll make some money on a very small play. If it doesn't, I'll lose $150. I'll continue to watch this, and I'll continue to try to take my shots on Upstart. So we'll see what happens. I like this quite a bit. If it doesn't work out, if that doesn't break out of that trend, I'd be slightly surprised, especially if this market starts to recover. That is what I'm looking at. Who knows? I could be way off. I could be wrong. I'm not a genius. I don't know everything that's going to happen, but that looks good to me. Netflix. daily chart. I'm sorry, hourly chart. Here's Netflix. Here's 630. 630 is a key level on Netflix. You guys can see that right here. It's held 630 for almost 2 weeks now. So 1, 2, 3. I mean, this is all just a huge hold at 630. We're back above 630 today on Netflix. We temporarily dropped below it. And you guys can see the last time that Netflix created a level like this, that was back here at around 595. So you have this 595 stair step. Then you break through the highs. So you guys can see. I'm going to go ahead and let me see if I can make this so you can't see the previous pop. So here we go. So this is what I want you to look at. You can see you have your previous highs right here. It broke through. What did the previous highs turn into? Support. We turned the previous highs into support. Support, support, support. You had your highs here at 617, 618. Now, what happened? We broke through that 618 right here. Broke through it. Boom, big breakout. And what happens now? We're creating another floor. Can this floor turn into very strong support? Can we break through its previous highs? Can we get this same move that we got here on Netflix? So I want to see if that continues. I like it. I like the stair steps. I like the hold at 630. If 630 continues to hold, I want to see this breakout of 645. Then we get another hold. Then we create a whole new channel up here, right? Then we create our next channel up here, and we do the same thing over and over and over again. So let's see. Can we get this push higher on Netflix? Can we get the channel to hold 630? Watch it today, guys. If the NASDAQ actually continues to move higher like it has been in the pre-market, I think Netflix can continue off this 630. XLF. XLF. Here's the daily chart. We can see the XLF definitely cooled off a little bit yesterday. We had these highs of 39, this 39 area. Started to pull back off of it. So we'll have to keep an eye on... Oh, excuse me. We got to keep an eye on the banks this week, guys. So we have earnings coming up. We have CPI data, Fed minutes. We're all everything that's going to be talked about, and all of those things is going to affect the banks. So XLF, a little bit of a pullback yesterday, just about flat here in the pre-market. So we'll have to keep an eye on this XLF. JP Morgan pulled back, right, off its highs. Goldman Sachs pulled back, rejected this trend line. You can see right here. Look at that rejection of this downtrend. So Goldman Sachs pulled back. Morgan Stanley pulling back. Bank of America started to lose it yesterday. Wells Fargo, basically pretty flat, but sort of rejected this downtrend right here. You can see that as well. So for me personally, I'm not someone that's going to play banks into earnings. I'd rather wait to see what the move is, wait to see where the direction heads, and play that continuation. Do the banks get a big push? Do the banks, fall back over? That is what I want to keep an eye out for. I want to see it first, and then I want to play the continuation. I don't want to try to guess what happens here. So that's what I'm looking for on the banks. Keep an eye on them this week, guys. Why is the ES moving? I personally believe it's just a technical bounce here this morning. A little bit of a technical bounce. There was nothing on the earnings or on the economic calendar this morning, so I'm thinking this is just a technical bounce on the ES. You got a very nice little previous hold here on the ES. I mean, this is no joke, guys. 1, 2, 3, nice hold there. Nice push higher in the ES. Yeah, I do want to look at SoFi before we head out, so we'll look at that. Let's go ahead and look at it now. Now we're talking about banks. So SoFi, nice push yesterday, guys. We had a price target increase from Morgan Stanley of I think 18, and I think SoFi. I mean, I've talked about this plenty of times. SoFi is a great purchase. I mean, we talked about it back here around 14, 15. I think it's still a great buy. I have this in my long term. You can't really beat buying SoFi down here at these lows. What's going to happen? What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to maybe this thing drops. Like if you bought this back here at 14, 15, I mean, you put your stop under 13.35, you put your stop under 13 and so on. And, so be it. If you buy shares, you can't lose. You can't say that it's wrong to buy shares at such a strong consolidation point. Look how strong SoFi has consolidated here at $14.50, $15. I mean, you got to take. I have shares of this. I'm happy to own shares down here towards 14, towards 15, and I'm just going to continue to see how this thing plays out. But I think it's a very strong hold at this level. I don't think you can go wrong buying shares of this company long term. I actually like the company long term. I think they're doing great things. I think fintech is a great space to be in. So I like it. I mean, options trading is a different story. You got to catch the momentum here. I'm not sure if this is going to be maybe a quick push and then maybe a pullback to 15. I don't know. I'm not sure. I just know that I'm going to stick to the share side here. I like SoFi as a company. And we'll see how this plays out. But I think you're buying this at nice support. Yesterday, got a little bit away from you if you are, looking to chase this thing, because you're going to start to run into some resistance here. I mean, there's going to be a lot of bag holders sitting in this stock waiting to see waiting to see this push back into their average price, right? So anyone that holds shares at 20 that's been holding them for a year now, maybe they start to think about selling once you hit 20, which will, obviously put a dampening on the stock price. If there is a lot of people there, I don't know. So I would watch, obviously, the 14, 15 level was very strong. I like the little trend that we're on. You can see we're sort of starting to uptrend. Very nice. Yeah, wheel champ, you can run the wheel on this. I'm actually considering doing that. So if you want, you can buy 100 shares of SoFi, guys. Sell covered calls. Continue to sell them. And then if you get assigned, you can go run the wheel, do a cash secured put. So I think that's the way to play this. Or you can just buy some longer dated option contracts, see if you can catch an actual run up back towards highs. But I wouldn't trade this thing like short term. I'd either, give yourself some time, like 3-4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and then or run the wheel on it. Your screen is not clear. It is clear. I mean, unless other people don't think it's clear, but I'm pretty sure it's clear. So that's SoFi. Let's go over to Coin and Mara. Coin. My screen clear, everyone? If it's not, let me know. You could do the PM. You could do poor man's covered call. I'd rather just buy the 100 shares. 100 shares is $1,500. I think that's probably the better bet, just to buy the 100 shares. All right, so here's Coin. Now I know Coin made some big moves in the recent trend due to the crypto moves, right? You got this move on Coin due to crypto. I just don't love Coin as a stock, so I'm not trusting this that much lately. You can see resistance up here towards 260. You can see resistance up here towards 285. So I would be a little bit aware of some of these levels, 285 and then 260, which we sort of rejected off yesterday. So that's what I'd be watching on Coin. I would love to make my screen go into the future. That's great. I love that. Yes, I would wish I could do that. So I'll just say this more about Coin as a whole rather than just like what's going on right now. I'll just share with you my feelings about Coin. I think Coin is a very difficult stock to trade and a very difficult stock to invest in long term because there's so much volatility in it due to crypto. I don't like the fact that you have that connection, and I think a lot of people do not like that fact. And I think that is what's hampering it a little bit. I think a lot of traditional investors, they have trouble, investing in Coin because they just don't know the volatility that could happen into the stock. And I know, it's a way to play. I think it's a good way to have exposure to crypto in a more traditional way with like an actual security, right? That would be, sort of, I think the use case for it is to, expose your portfolio to crypto, with Coinbase, the Coinbase stock, and a company that doesn't so much, one of the things that they said when Coinbase came out, I remember watching all of the CNBC, what they said, all the executives came on, everything. and they said, the biggest reason why they believe people should invest in Coinbase, the stock, is because they will not be exposed to the volatility of Bitcoin, because we are the ones, we're making money regardless, right? It doesn't really, they said how Coinbase does make more money in a higher Bitcoin price environment, but they still make money on transactions, and it's a better place to put your money. However, I've started to see lately that Coinbase literally only moves with crypto momentum. I mean, the only reason coin has moved lately is because Bitcoin has started to move higher. And it seems like it's not even moving as high as, Bitcoin's, almost was about 10, 15,000 points off all-time highs. This thing's pretty damn high, pretty damn far off all-time highs. So we'll see. I'm not sure about the fundamentals of Coinbase. I'm sure they do pretty well, but I'm just sort of watching the chart here, and it's just a really hard chart to get behind right now. You can buy RK. I buy RK like crazy. RK also has coin in it. But yeah, that's my overall feeling on coin. I'm sort of indifferent on it, and right now I just don't see the value down here. Maybe you can. I think if you can get this push through 290, I think maybe that changes things. Up here towards just 285. That's what I sort of want to see. So until that, I don't want to keep you're basically parking your money in this thing between 230 and 280. Until I see it not being parked here anymore, maybe I'll look into it again. So that's coin. Mara. Mara's actually has been doing very much better. So Mara right here, you guys can see, keep an eye on this thing this week. If crypto continues, this 45, that's really what I'll say. Just watch this 45. Mara has held really nicely at this 31. You can see this break, retest of 31. 45 is the key level, guys. Have this alerted on your chart. If Mara breaks through 45, then I think this thing can go up to 49.50. And then after that, highs of 57. So that 45 on Mara is one to watch. All right, finally, Snow. Just want to show you guys this real quick. Snow, we were watching this off the 50 SMA. A very nice pullback, a very nice hold at the 50. We pushed back off the 50, but you guys can see the rejection started to come in right here at 325, 326. Previous highs, 1, 2, and 3. So the resistance came in 326. If you get another pullback to the 50, great. See if that shows opportunity. If you start to hold the 20, even better. But for right now, I think this is a little bit of a short-term pullback. And I think if you are watching Snow, if you're someone that trades Snow, you need to see this break through this 326. You need to see this break. You need to see it hold as support, and then maybe you can get your push back towards highs. But for right now, that 326 is where you are starting to lose some momentum here. You can see that triple top, 1, 2, 3. So keep an eye on that level. All right, that is my schedule, but now we're going to jump into what the members want to look at. Let me go ahead and pull that up to see what the members put into there for today. Looks like we don't have many. So maybe we'll take a few from we'll take PayPal. We'll see who else. We only have Sony, Airbnb, and PayPal right now. So if anyone has anything, I'm only going to take, just go ahead and let me know. Let me know what you want to look at. I'm not going to be able to get to everyone. So here's Sony. We can go for about 5 minutes, maybe 2 more charts. I'm going to look at PayPal in a second. Sony, very, very choppy price action. I mean, the daily chart is, gaps after gaps. So be careful with this. Probably because does this trade more on the Asian market? I'm not quite sure what's going on with Sony. I would probably not trade something that is this illiquid YT. I think you have better opportunities than trading something this illiquid, to be quite honest. But if you just look past that, you got a nice little hold here of previous 105 support resistance. So you can see 105. So watch that. But yeah, that's pretty illiquid stock. You guys think I'm gonna be able to get them? That's a lot. Maybe I should have just said don't put tickers in the chat. But anyways, Airbnb, Airbnb. Oh, Eric, you got it, buddy. Look at that with the member, Nvidia. You got it, Eric. So we can see here, we can see Airbnb, this 168, 166 area. You can see we had some previous structure in this area, right? It's an ADR. Yeah. So you can see some previous structure here in this area, 168, 165, all in this area, and it's been starting to hold up once again. So a little bit of a downtrend. You can see right here, a little bit of a downtrend, but I sort of like this hold on Airbnb. It's been difficult to get going. So 177 right in this area, that's the key level, 177. That's a big breakout right there. So you can see big breakout right there, downtrend, starting to move, potential break of this 177. That could be very nice. Here's the daily chart. You've been on a trend, but you started to lose some steam here. So I think, I think this is a potential hold at 165, 166. 20 SMA is there. I just, this is not as clean as I would like. That's how I'll put it. This is a very difficult type of price action right here. I mean, look at this choppiness. So not the cleanest thing I've seen. Whoever recommended Airbnb to look at, I think I'd rather wait to see if we can get this move. I think that's where I'd rather try to take Airbnb. So that's Airbnb. PayPal, I liked the trend. I liked the uptrend that we were on. Tyler, we literally were just on Airbnb. I like the trend that PayPal that we were on. However, it's starting to get a little sketchy here, right? A little bit sketchy at this uptrend. If we fail this uptrend and we break below these lows, then I think we're moving back lower. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another hold here on PayPal. This needs to hold. If you do not want to see a break below this candle low. So 251.59. 251.59. You do not want to see a break below that. 251.59. That is the level I would watch on PayPal because you need to hold this low and you need to try to hold this uptrend. If this uptrend fails, I think you're coming back down. All right. We're going to do Nvidia and then we're going to do Starbucks because I'm in a Starbucks position and then we're out of here. So Nvidia. You had a gap up on this chart, and I think you just sort of came back and filled the gap up. So you pulled back to this uptrend. You can see 1, 2, 3 uptrend. We pushed up. We pulled back to this previous level right here. You guys can see this gap up where the gap up started. Right here, gap up, pull back to the gap, fill the gap, and then you can start to push back higher. And if we go here, we can see to the 4-hour chart, that is exactly what happened. Let me go to the hourly. So gap up occurred right here in the after hours. Right here, this was your gap. You pulled back, filled the gap, and now you're starting to hold this previous high at 206, 207. So if Nvidia, on a strong market, starts to push above this little 206, 207 area, and you start to push up, I think this is actually a very good watch here. So let's watch Nvidia today. If it can break this trend, if it can hold this previous 206, 207 support, that is what I'd be watching right here. See if it can hold this little bottom, break through this downtrend. That's what I'd be watching on Nvidia today. And finally, Starbucks. Long-term trade idea for me. I want to see it hold this 111 area right now. If it can hold this 111 area, then I think I want to stay in this trade. I see the potential upside on Starbucks. It's pulled back quite a bit from its highs. It's pulled back to a very strong support structure area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times this thing has pulled back to this structure, to this demand zone. I want to be patient, but at the same time, I'm not going to just, I'm not going to just let something, go that doesn't look good. So I want to be a little bit patient in this area. 109, 110, 111, this whole area looks like it could definitely hold, but it's going to take a little bit to get this thing going. So we'll see. I'm in a Starbucks trade for November. I'm looking to see if I can get a hold here, the 111s, and try to see if this thing can push back higher. Here's the weekly chart. You guys can see, just trying to see if we can hold this demand zone at 110 area. So that's Starbucks. That's the live stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for everyone that came today. I hope you enjoyed it. Press the like button. Subscribe to the channel. What else? Shout out to MSI for being a sponsor of the live stream. If you guys want 15% off my mouse and my keyboard, they're in the link in the description below. You can get 15% off. I think it's limited to like first 50 people. So, if you guys need a mechanical keyboard, if you need a new mouse, check it out. Shout out to MSI for sponsoring the live stream. What else? Tired. So let's see what happens today. NASDAQ up 34 points, pulled back a little bit. We'll have to come into today unbiased. Facebook is a falling knife. I wouldn't touch Facebook here. Facebook potentially breaking down to new lows here. 321. Oh God, yeah. No, this is damn. Yeah, Facebook's a falling knife here, guys. I think Facebook comes back to 315. Right here. 315 is where I think Facebook comes back to. 1, 2, yeah. I wouldn't touch Facebook to the upside. No way. So, I would watch downside there. Tesla. News. Sure about that? I don't see any news on Tesla right now. So, top watches today. Upstart, that's one of my top watches. I'm always going to watch Affirm because Affirm's been crazy. Tesla. Upstart, Affirm, Tesla. That's probably going to be it. The other one I want to keep an eye out for is Netflix off this 630. And then, as always, Microsoft's been killing it. That's about it. Besides that, I'll just monitor the markets throughout the day. So, thank you guys again. I gotta head out. Come over to the Discord chat if you want. If not, it's okay. I will talk to you guys on the next live stream. Peace out.